All right, so I'm going to go over 4 potential Aaron Judge trade proposals. I initially had 3, but I added 1. And you're going to see a prevailing theme with all these trades. There's one consistency with all of them, okay? They're all with West Coast teams. All of them. He's a West Coast boy, and I think any of these teams could utilize an Aaron Judge type player, particularly some of these who might feel like they're one piece away from winning a championship or getting close to it. So, and I'm going to go over them. So, and again, this might be an unpopular thing, but like I said before, the Yankees have to make their very best offer to him with an extension this offseason. And if he turns it down, then you move on and you trade him. You get a lot back, because if they wait for the year to end and he's a free agent, all they're going to do is going to give him a qualifying offer and get a prospect back, or I think a 2nd and 5th rounder, and that is not enough for Aaron Judge. So they would be completely out of leverage if they do that. So they have to make their best offer now, and if it's rejected, you trade him immediately and you get a package in return. He's the most tradable and the most valuable asset on the team, and you could extract a good return package, just like Boston did for Mookie, just like other teams do on a regular basis. So, and the team would not collapse. It would be fine. And staying in reality, there is no way the Yankees are going to get Judge for a 5-year deal. It's not going to happen. Just his absolute floor is going to be $200 million. Floor. And it's very likely going to be upwards of 8 years, maybe even longer than that. In 8 years, $200 million is $25 million a year. I think he's going to get even more than that. He'll probably wind up getting maybe 8 years, $240, which is $30 million a year. Somebody will justify that, and there are teams only a handful, who will be willing to pay that price. But keep in mind, too, some team might overpay to get him for just this season. If they win the World Series, they can offer him a qualifying offer, let him walk, and get draft picks in return while someone else overpays. This is a strategic move, in my opinion, for the Yankees. And it could also be a strategic move for an acquiring team if it pans out the way they want it to pan out. But here are my 4 trades. Number 1 is with the Los Angeles Angels. Aaron Judge goes to the Angels, just him alone, for Sam Bachman, their number 2 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. Kai Bush, their number 7 prospect and left-handed pitcher. And Deshaun Knowles, the number 10 prospect and outfielder. 3 top 10s for 1 year at Judge. If it was 2 year Judge or 3 years of Judge, the package would be obviously bigger. But this is 1 season of Judge, and they have some of these prospects who are pretty close to the majors. And keep in mind, if they move Judge, and let's just say they move Judge and Gallo for some reason, they can go out and bring in Starling Marte or something like that with similar production at a hell of a lot lower cost. And they could do that. There are guys that they could sign this offseason to replace some of the production at a fraction of the price. So this thing wouldn't be as bad while these other guys continue to develop. So there's something to keep in mind. There are guys out there who are available should the Yankees want to do that. But this offers them a handful of prospects in return for the short and long term. So that's the first trade with the Angels. The second one is with the San Diego Padres, who were aggressive, and I think they're going to continue to be aggressive until they've beaten the Giants and the Dodgers. And this one, Aaron Judge and Chad Green go to the Padres. Okay, I had Chad Green in one of my Joey Gallo trades. I have him in my Aaron Judge trade too, going to San Diego. For Mackenzie Gore, their number 3 prospect, a left-handed pitcher, and Luis Campusano, their number 4 prospect, catcher. That would be if they can get those 2, and maybe like a Brian Medina on the back end there's a number 3 prospect, a right-handed pitcher, I would be all over that. They can get 2 top 5s, particularly these 2 guys. That would be a really, really nice trade return for the Yankees. And Chad Green would give them a little bit more versatility in the rotation, who can throw multiple innings to help some of the starters. I mean, their starting rotation this past year was a little bit underwhelming. So with all that talent, and they have Mike Clevenger coming back next year, but they could use a guy like this in the bullpen to help pad them on the back end. So this is a trade that makes sense to me for both teams as well. They get the superstar hitter, and you add him to Machado, to Tatis, and some of these other players. Oh my heavens, that's murderer's row, man. Murderer's row. He's a West Coast kid. He's a good kid, and I think he would fit right in there. So just like he fits in the Yankees, but again, this is the time when the Yankees need to make that decision if they have to move him swiftly if he turns them down. This can't be one of these things where they're going to negotiate against themselves and then add a 9th year and a 10th year for $350 million and then paying for his major decline years. Let somebody else do that. Okay? Let someone else do that. As much as I like Judge, I like the Yankees more. So, and I want them to win. And they have to not be afraid to make moves like this. Who cares if it hurts people's feelings or whatever? This is about building a winning team, a consistent one for the long term. Okay, people might not like it, Cashman might not like it. I don't care. And this is not about placating Cashman, even though it seems like Boone is there for that. It seems like some of the reporters at Yes, who never mention Cashman's name, never criticize him, because the Yes Network is probably owned by the Yankees. So I'm guess they're afraid they might be fired as well, but. They have to. It's got to be driven where it's due. Boone deserves some of the blame. Cashman deserves more of the blame than Boone. Obviously, some of the players, and obviously Hal, who's just sitting in the background, collecting his millions and millions of dollars, and completely avoiding accountability and avoiding people asking him hard questions. So this is a trade that makes sense to me as well. It's a bold one, but it makes sense. The next one is Aaron Judge and Aroldis Chapman to the San Francisco Giants. Okay, who to me, they need one offensive piece and one pitching piece to kind of stay competitive or maybe surpass, what they did this past year. So Judge and Chapman to the Giants for Joey Bart. That's got to be the guy. If you want Judge, we want Joey Bart, who's their number 2 prospect, a catcher. Okay, and Will Bednar, their number 7 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. Matt Mikulski, their number 10 prospect, a left-handed pitcher. And Luis Toribio, the number 14 prospect, who plays multiple infield positions. I would even eat a few $1 million of Chapman's contract to make it work if that were better. But in this situation, the Giants get Judge and Chapman to boost that team. In return, the Yankees get Bart and 3 other prospects. But again, this proposal comes with a high-end catching prospect. They need high-end catching prospects. And Judge is probably the only guy in the team who can help fetch one. That's why this trade is as such. The second alternative trade with the Giants, at which I have like a 3B, is for Luis Matos, their number 3 prospect and outfielder, for the same Judge and Chapman. Kyle Harrison, their number 5 prospect, a left-handed pitcher. Patrick Bailey, number 8, their catching prospect. There goes another high-end catching prospect. Seth Curry, number 11, left-handed pitcher. And if they get another one, maybe Sean Hell, number 13, right-handed pitcher. But the 2 top 5s at the top are the key. But personally, I'm going after Joey Bart. In any situation possible, if they can. And the 4th trade would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Again, Aaron Judge and Chad Green over to the Dodgers for Dustin May, who's coming off Tommy John, but is a high-end elite pitching prospect. Brusdar Graterol, another high-end pitching prospect, okay, who has made the majors, and he's a pretty solid pitcher too. And Gavin Lux. And maybe they'll throw in another pitcher on the back end, but that to me is this is a blockbuster of blockbusters. The Dodgers have plenty of pitching depth in the farm and on the team to part with May and Graterol and Lux, who I think is kind of bereft of a position. He would be a better fit on the Yankees than he would be on the Dodgers, even though they're likely going to lose Seager and probably Chris Taylor. I would substitute one of Judge and someone for. I would add Gleyber Torres if they wanted Gleyber Torres, who I think would be much better over there as well. He has a much better team to surround him, would make him better. And he would be able to bat in the second half of the lineup instead of being pressured to bat in the first half of the lineup. Just an opinion, but I think this is a pretty bold, blockbuster, doable trade as well. So again, it would be Judge and let's say Torres to the Dodgers, or Judge and Green to the Dodgers for Graterol, Dustin May, Gavin Lux. High-end pitching prospects who have major league experience. That to me, and they get the superstar they want. You add Judge to Mookie, Justin Turner, and all these other guys, that's another murderous row lineup. That would be hell to go through. And Judge is as good as it gets. So let me know what you think of those trades, okay? Because after this, I'm going to be talking about 3 Gleyber Torres trades, okay? And after that, like I said, I'll be doing 3 Aroldis Chapman trades, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff coming as well. So if you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet so you don't miss all the new ones coming out, and hit the notifications so you know exactly when they're coming. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.